Hello, everyone. Welcome to our NHL on NBC studios. This is the Push for the Playoffs, our new YouTube show. Liam McHugh, Mike Milbury, and Keith Jones. Here's the lineup for Episode 1. We're starting with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Can they put these new pieces together in time for a run? Who wins the Central, the Jets or the Predators? Will playoff hockey return to the desert? And as for the Flyers, in or out? They've been chasing a playoff spot for some time. Let's start with Columbus. This is a team that had its own unrestricted free agents that they didn't know if they were going to sell. They kept them. Then they added, and they've struggled. Can the chemistry work?
I don't know if it can work. You got to give Jarmo Kekalainen, their general manager, points for courage. I mean, with Panarin, with Bobrovsky probably leaving at the end of the season, instead of just giving it up on it and trading those guys away for whatever he could get, he went out and added 3 more unrestricted free agents in Duchesne and Zingle and Adam McQuaid, who's unfortunately been a healthy scratch the last couple of games. Can they put it together? They're on the death watch right now. I mean, every game is critical for them. They have an opportunity, but John Tortorella's got his hands full right now. Nothing seems to be gelling as they expected it to.
Yeah, and nothing's going to be given to them either. Every team that they play is gunning for them. They watched how active they were at the trade deadline. Expectations were then elevated. And I think anytime you have guys that are playing on contracts that expire at the end of the year, that are looking at big contracts the following season and for many seasons to come, I'm not sure if they're diving and blocking a shot with their face or doing whatever it takes when the playoffs roll around. So there's some question marks down the stretch.
He's such a cynic, isn't he? It's just, you know, you'd think a guy's playing for a contract, he might work a little harder.
You would think
in the
maybe.
Jones world, you relax.
It's the other way.
Yeah,
You've sort of already earned it at that point.
They've already done it.
Well, it's interesting, too, because if this doesn't work and they have all these players and they don't make it and then they lose these players, you wonder if GMs going forward at the deadline are going to be as courageous as we've seen in Columbus.
It will
might not be the case.
It will certainly be an awful impact on Jarmo Kekalainen's career if he loses all 5 of those unrestricted free agents.
All right, let's go to the Central Division because it looks like it's this 2-team race, Nashville or Winnipeg. Who do you have the edge right now?
I give it to Winnipeg. I think they're going to find a way to end up on top. I like the way Kevin Hayes has fit in that Winnipeg Jets lineup. I think they've got a lot of options there. Patrick Laine starting to get his game going now that he's been teamed up with Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler. Wheeler's all of a sudden become the goal scorer. 5 goals over his last couple of games for Blake Wheeler. He's normally the guy that's distributing the puck, but multiple options on this Winnipeg Jets team, and they're starting to round into form at the right time. So look out, Nashville. Here's the Jets.
They are a huge team, and I think they've learned a lesson in last year's Stanley Cup Playoffs. Lost a tough one to Vegas, and I think they're ready to make the next step.
All right, so we'll follow that race in the Central Division. Biggest surprise in the West right now, it's got to be Arizona. The Coyotes, this is a team that I think at the beginning of the season you wouldn't have looked at and said, oh, I like this roster. This is a playoff team. Then that roster got ripped apart because of injuries, and they're right there. Are we going to see playoff hockey in Arizona here?
I don't know if we're going to see it, but I do know this, that their coach, Rick Tocchet, has done a remarkable job. And even if they don't make it, I think he should at least be a finalist. A lot of great coaching jobs being done, but Tocchet is right at the head of the class here. It's a feisty team, a hard-working team, a team that's just put together with paste and glue right now, and Tocchet's at the middle of this. He's done a masterful job of keeping it all together, and you know, they've got a shot at this, and the simple fact that they have a shot at it, I think merits his discussion in the Coach of the Year.
I would agree with that. When you look at the list of injuries that Arizona's dealt with, you just talked about it, Liam. These are some key players, including their #1 goaltender before the season started, Grabner, who was on fire before injuring his eye, especially in shorthanded situations. Schmaltz, who they gave up a couple of players to get over, including Dylan Strome, who's been lighting it up for the Blackhawks. As soon as he arrived, he was hurt within a couple of days, and Derek Stepan recently has left the lineup as well. So down the stretch, they are missing a ton of key players, but they have found a way to somehow keep on swatting the opposition. They work extremely hard, and they're a real difficult team to stop.
The third topic, and neither one of you answered the question. Are they going to make the playoffs?
No.
All right. You said a lot of nice things, so you can now just end it with no.
Yeah, it's a feel-good story that ends badly. How's that?
You agree with that?
No, they make it.
All right.
They're in.
All right, we're going to hold you to that. You can't change your mind next week.
Is this on tape?
Yeah, no, not at all. No one can access this very easily.
It's
all
a
right.
YouTube thing.
Final topic, the Flyers. This is a team that's made a massive push over the last almost 2 months at this point.
No, they're not going to.
In or out?
No,
Too much?
they're out. They're out. Go ahead.
Too much. Yeah, the difference right now with the number of teams that are in their way, including Columbus, who we think is at least going to gain some traction. I think Columbus causes some issues for the teams that are in front of them. Carolina's been way too good this year. They do not look like they're slowing down, so I do not think the Flyers make it, but I do think they'll make it difficult on some teams that are trying to get.
And the reason is they set a record for goaltending, 8 different goaltenders. Wonder if Carter Hart had been available or is playing well. I know his season didn't start that well, but if they'd taken a chance on him early on, maybe Ron Hextall still here, Dave Hextall still behind the bench, but that tells the whole story for me there. I think they finally find their goaltender in Carter Hart, but just a little too late for this season.
All right, attractive job, though, for future coaches?
Oh, yeah, and how do they get rid of Scott Gordon with a job that he's done? I mean, I think he's 20-11 and a few regulation or after regulation losses on there, so he's been really good. The players seem like they love playing for him, so that would be a real difficult decision for the Flyers to make. Chuck Fletcher has a real challenge there to come up with something in the summer if he's getting rid of Scott Gordon.
And here's a coach that came in the middle of the season, doesn't have any training camp, and the schedule conspired against him. They had very little practice time. He still managed to make some changes in his team's approach, and that's worked out for him. I think he deserves another shot.
All right, there it is. First installment of the push for the playoffs.
We get to do it again?
No.